Welcome, everyone. This is Reese. I would like to welcome you back to Unstoppable MS with No Boundaries. I want to apologize to everyone. I know it's been a while. I want to thank you for tuning in again. I see for life's got so busy. I'm excited to dive back into the important topic and thank you for your patience and for sticking with me. Today, I have my cousin, Dion. Dion, also known as Pooh. I would like to hear. Hello, Dion.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. So, Deanna and I are going to talk about our MS experience. I want to ask you a few questions, Deanne. First up, I'd like to ask you, can you please tell me your diagnosis story?
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, back in the dinosaur ages of 1999, no, just kidding. In 1998, I started having numbness in my feet, and it gradually went up to my mid torso, and it was really, really, really bad. Like I couldn't feel my pants, I couldn't feel anything. So finally, I lost control of my bladder. And so I said, well, I have to go to school, the hospital at school, which was Oblenis Hospital at Ohio University. So I went there, and this was, I want to say September of 98. And he tried to whack me with the knee thing to see if I could have any reflexes. I didn't. And they kept on whacking, and then they took turns whacking to see maybe the people weren't strong enough. I don't know. But they finally said, "Okay, well, you have MS. Um Turn around, let me give you a spinal tap." In the hospital bed. Didn't know what MS was. I was very, very young. I want to say a sophomore in college, and didn't know anything. So that was my story.
So, are you saying when they whacked you in your knee never kicked out? That's when
Oh
they
no,
flex. For people that don't know what the whacking of the knee is when they take this little hammer and just hit us in our knee, and our knee is supposed to kick them, and it doesn't happen. So you said no
so
response whatsoever, huh, Deanna?
everybody was taking turns doing it. Oh no, Susie, you do it. No, no, you, Tom, do it. And nobody. My knee just looked at them like, nope, I'm moving.
So even
So
if you didn't like somebody, they couldn't get kicked on that day.
nope,
All right. I do understand. Well, that's good they diagnosed you pretty early, though. You know, you had that.
no. I was diagnosed with MS when they said that, but they didn't have any concrete evidence. I came back to Cleveland Clinic, and the clinic said, "You don't have MS." So then my mom decided to do cartwheels around the hospital office. I was like, okay. This was a couple months after. And everything just kept coming back. Like it was just the numbness came back, and it was just bad. And so finally they said, well, we'll have to do an actual spinal tap. So they did the proper procedure and did the actual x-ray and looked at it to see where they should poke me for my spinal tap. And finally, in May of 99, they diagnosed me with MS. And they didn't even call it MS at that time. They called it something called Devick's disease, which I had no clue what Devick's disease was. Um, I later learned that Devick's disease is another word for multiple sclerosis, relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis. I did not know that. They never said that. They said, "Oh, you have Devick's," and they referred me to the Mellon Center, which is for MS.
This is why I like talking to people. I never heard that Devick's disease, and I've had it for my MS for a while. So this is why I enjoy talking to other people about experiences. Very interesting. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about some of your common misconceptions about multiple sclerosis that you can think of?
Oh, well, my favorite. You if you just get some sleep, you'll be better. And if I say I'm tired, MS is totally different. You're tired is tired. It's a whole nother level. It's fatigue like you never have experienced it. I can wake up after 8 hours of sleep and still I'm tired. It's no way, it's nothing. You are in quicksand as far as sleep. You cannot ever recover from sleep or rest. Like you just have to get rest. And even when you get rest, it's not proper rest because you still are tired. That is a misconception. Like people tell you, "Oh, well, you're sleepy. Go to sleep, rest." It's not that. It's a difference between tired and fatigued. And I am fatigued. I'm very, very, very fatigued. So, I don't, even when you go to sleep, you never recover. And if you try and do something, it's going to bring the fatigue out and you're going to get exhausted. Your
Or you,
body's going to turn to a noodle. But
you have
so,
where you're doing something really active. You think that most people are doing things actively, and that'll keep you awake. Doesn't happen that way.
nope.
It shuts down.
Survey says, eh, yeah, no, you don't do that. Um, and another misconception is, well, you look good. I didn't know you were supposed to look bad if you have MS. I didn't know, is there like a certain look that you have, or do you get a certain tattoo on your face that say you look bad? I don't know. Um, but people say that all the time, like, oh, well, you look good.
Mhm.
Okay.
You don't
So
look like
those
you have
are
MS.
two misconceptions of MS.
Oh, yeah, you don't look like you have MS. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
nothing.
I do have another one. Um, Everybody doesn't understand that everybody's MS is unique. It's not a cookie cutter disease. It's something where people have different issues of MS. And what you experience, I might never experience. Or if I do experience it, it might be in a different way. So, I mean, like case in point, eyesight. Some people have wonderful eyesight. Some people never get impaired with any type of vision difficulties. Other people might have problems with their peripheral vision. Some people can't focus. Who knows? So it's not a cookie cutter disease.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the eyesight could be so different. Did you ever have a problem with your eyesight?
I did. I did lose my peripheral vision. I saw windmills on the sides, and that's the best way I can describe it because everything was going around in circles on the side of my eyesight. So when I looked over like to the left or to the right, all I could see was just this. And it was just whatever, it was just turning and turning and turning. But since then, I'm okay.
Awesome. I'm glad for the recovery of that because I did have double vision and mine cleared up so that I do see how
See?
these things can come and go, which we like. Yes. Can you tell me your most difficult symptom and cope and your support system that you have, the most difficult that you had? We have a lot.
Most difficult?
Yes.
Whoa. Well, well, presently, my legs are divorcing me. And so balance and walking is difficult at this time. So that's my biggest difficulty at this time. Um, I think if I could run 5 miles, I would be good, but I can't. So I'm trying. Well, there goes the fatigue again. If I did run 5 miles, but honestly, the legs are the most difficult.
When you say divorcing you, I think that's why I have my
Oh
Cadillac.
yeah,
And do you
my
have any kind of
my
walk?
Rolls is right over there. Yeah.
Yes, you do that. And and being so young, you're young, and I know it was kind of hard for us to accept the fact that we had to have these, but I'm sure you've seen others. And does it motivate you to say if they can? How do you feel about that?
Um, I used to feel like um if they can do it, I can do it. But now I feel like if I can do it, I feel like I'm an example to other people. Now that I've gotten older and I've been in the MS world for 25 years, I think it's totally different. And think like, okay, I want to be that inspiration to the other person and tell them like, if, you see me, you see I can do it. I'm not complaining. It's just a way of life. It's something you have to deal with. And you just do it, period.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Absolutely. Well, now, with MS, you do know stress is a big thing to bring on symptoms. MS, for people that do not know, if you stress yourself out, then your symptoms can reoccur or get worse. Can I ask you how you manage your stress?
Um, I try. I'm still a work in progress. I should have a construction sign. I am trying to find a way. Um, Sometimes you are my sounding board. You talk me through things. God. Um, Sometimes I just have to step back and be like, okay, what's really going on? But it's easier said than done. You still get caught up in your feelings. You still get upset. Um, I think that I look at things and take things more personally. Um, and it might not necessarily be connected to my MS, but I'm like, well, it must be this. So, um, I have to try to find a way to calm down.
I'm glad you say you use me as a board. I enjoy talking to you when you have things going on because you have also been my, go-to person because you
Well,
understand.
just don't send me a bill.
That's right. I've tried. You just won't pay it.
No, that is true too.
But honestly, that you've been there for me, I've been there for you, and we talk to each other because when you talk to someone else with MS, they understand. We have family that understands that we have an ailment, but they don't really understand it to the degree that, look, I'm going through this today, and it helps with me.
Mhm.
So I'm glad you used me for that, and I'm glad you're there for me. Thank you for that. um, I'd like to ask you if there are any lifetime changes that made a big difference in your life.
Um, the birth of my daughter
Yes.
made a big change in my life. It was kind of, it was like almost surreal. Like I have something that's mine. That's my daughter. That's me right there. That's me. Um, I went on disability. That was a life change because I was a career woman. I went to college. I got my bachelor's. I got my master's. I was on my way to get my doctorate. I wanted to do it all, and I felt like all I could do was, continue to excel in my career. That's what I wanted to do. And, having a family, that was great, but I was still going to continue to excel in my career. So, I just, those were two things that just totally changed my world. Going on disability, you're no longer a career woman. Um, I'm a mom, but now I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like it's totally different. But I'm happy I got to experience it.
That's a big job. Being a parent is a big job. That's almost big as job as going to a career. So, so yeah,
And you can't call in sick for it.
that's right. That's absolutely right. I like that 'cause like you said, I'm so happy. And your daughter is beautiful. She's a very big help. You're
Thank
so
you.
blessed to have her. You really are. She's a sweetheart.
That's my baby.
Yes. You know, I don't know if you feel this way too, Dion, but back in the day when I was diagnosed with MS, I didn't know too many people with MS. But the longer I've had it, the more people I've grown to see with MS. I would like to ask you, if you met someone who was newly diagnosed, what advice would you give them?
Don't give up and be flexible. And I don't mean like physically flexible, because that's not gonna happen. But but be flexible, be willing to adapt to change because things are going to change. Um, and it's just like Cleveland weather, it'll one day it's this and next day it's that. So just be adaptive, just be ready, just find a new way to do things. That's what you have to do. Um, and don't focus on things you can't do. Focus on things you can do. Um, I know that you and I have tried to find smarter ways to do things, not harder ways, not harder ways to do it. Like, okay, so we have to get something done. We're not going to sit there and completely, like, use all our energy to do it. We're going to try and find a way to get it done and conserve energy. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong at all. If it takes, like
Well,
someone on the previous broadcast, a meal that could take a half hour to cook, for me, it takes me 2 hours.
oh yeah, we're not going to talk about that word.
That's right. We have to take
Yeah,
our breaks and do things at a steady pace.
right.
Oh, yes, right. So now, what in your relationships with your family and friends gave you some influence? You did say I am, because I kind of talked to you, you talked to me, so we do have that. And I'm sure you have other family and friends that influence you or to help you out with this. Who would you say is or what would you say is your biggest influence when it comes to this?
My biggest influence,
Mhm.
I would have to say everybody. I've met so many people with MS now. As you said before, it wasn't people that had it, um, but meeting so many people who have just normal struggles, and we laugh about it. Like, if you fall, we laugh about like we're checking out the floor to make sure it's still there. So I mean, it's just interesting to hear other people's stories. um I and you have to laugh about it. Like, there's no way that you can just be serious about it all the time. You have to laugh at it. Keeps you going. Like Jamie Foxx said, you laugh. You gotta laugh. And if you don't, it's not gonna work out for you. So I would have to say everybody has been an inspiration, in one way or the other. I meet people that have MS. I mean, I met someone randomly. I was in New York and this lady had a scooter and she we just started talking because we were in the line for the Nick Cannon show. Don't get me started on Nick, but um, we were in line, and she rode up in a scooter, and she said, "Can I stand here?" I said, "Sure." And I mean, can I stand here? Yeah, right.
Right.
Can I sit here? And I
Well, some
was
of
like,
you could
yeah.
stand, but you weren't standing.
I was. After I ran 10 miles, I was like, oh, let me go stand in this line.
Right.
So,
We can always keep it in our
um, would you say?
we can always keep that in our mind that we're standing.
Yeah. So, in my mind, you're right. So, I was sitting there waiting for the show, like for us to get in, and the woman and I just spark up a conversation, and she started talking. She's like, "Yeah, I have MS and blah blah blah," and I'm like, "What? You have what?" And I said, "Me too," and it just started from there. So, it was. I mean, it was nice to meet somebody on the streets of New York that had MS. Like, I was like, well, that was kind of random, but it was nice.
I do find that when you meet people with MS and you get that conversation going, it makes them feel better as well as us to know that we're not alone. A lot of times when we go through that, we feel like we're all alone and we're the only one going through this. And you see someone else and they need that reassurance that we're all in this fight together and we will beat this together. But what is that we always said? We have MS, but MS does not have us.
MS doesn't have us.
Right. And
Um, oh, so I want to go back to that whole Nick Cannon thing. If you're watching, ma'am, I'm so upset with you. And I'll tell you why.
You love.
Wanda, can I tell why?
You can tell it why. Yes, you may.
Okay. So I am a big fan of Nick Cannon. Love him.
Yes.
And I went to a show because I love Nick Cannon, period.
Yes.
So when we were in line, the the employee asked me, "Can you walk a few stairs?" I said, "Yes." And I could walk a few stairs. I said, "But you have to assist me."
Mhm.
So I decided to be big and bad and walk up 2 or 3 stairs and sit down in the audience like normal people do.
Right.
They asked the other lady, "Well, will you be able to stand?" She said no. So they put her on the side of the stage.
Oh.
Nick Cannon came out and hugged her.
Oh.
Do you know if I could have ran down those stairs, I would have.
That's like,
But
I want my hug.
yeah, but that's okay. Because he prayed with me. Like he touched my shoulder. I'll never wash the outfit again. So, Nick Cannon, if you're watching,
I love you.
yeah,
That's right.
yes.
Nick Cannon,
Don't
you
want any kids. No, no kids.
no
No,
children. He only goes
no
with
kids.
children, though. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, no kids. But yeah, I was teased because you touched my shoulder. Everybody thought I was pregnant. But
Right, right.
yeah,
Any parts of Nick Cannon, you're gonna get pregnant.
yeah.
That's cute. I love that.
So, ma'am, I am upset with you, and you know who you are.
Right, because you had a hug from Nick Cannon. I did not get that hug.
Yeah. Oh.
But that's okay. Don't wash that shirt. Oh
And
my,
that outfit is still in plastic.
that's awesome. That's a good story to share. We appreciate that one. Um, do you have any helpful resources? What are your helpful resources?
Oh, what is not? People, um, doctors. The internet is not your friend. The internet will basically it will not work out for you. Because it will say you will die by in 5 years. Your eye will fall out and your ear will be dangling. I mean, there is no happy anything on the internet. So the things that you read might be true, but they might not be true. So I won't say the internet. WebMD, no. Um, I think talking to people is the best. Support groups are the best. Um, things like this, I think, are the best. I don't think anything else besides, they tell you like word of mouth. Yeah,
That is so true. You said definitely. You said the eyes out. So
your ear is dangling. Yeah, that's what WebMD or whatever on the internet. They'll be like, oh yeah, I have MS and I died in 5 years. So no.
not the truth, right?
And how are you sending this message if you're dead? Yeah.
That's
So.
right. Now I know we talked, over and over, and I know even though we're going through things, I think you kind of really touched on that a little bit. But you have some positive things about living with MS too. Can you tell us what you think is the most positive part about you living with MS? Ooh,
Oh, well, um, you get to park in handicap.
yeah, everything's close, huh?
Everything's much closer.
Oh,
Um,
how about the airport?
yeah.
You first in line. Nobody.
Oh, no, 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 no. You get the priority seating and you don't pay for it. You know, you're not in like, how they say now boarding, what is it? The third or whatever, now boarding G, now boarding C. Nope, UA. So, I mean, you might go, after first class, but you going first. So,
Right. Even if you're not walking in there, you're gonna get in there. That's right.
yep,
No
you
line.
gonna wheel me in somehow.
We had to find
So
something positive off all the negative, huh?
that's right. My girlfriend used to call it VIP. So we are VIP.
A lot of people see you in your, role later, whatever, and they ask what's going on. Can you tell me how do you tell others of your condition when they ask you what is MS? How do you tell them about your conditions or explain to people what you go through?
Okay. Well, the best way I can describe it is, well, I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I was trying to figure out how I can explain MS to her. And the best way I felt that I could explain it to her is because, well, we have a highly technological society. So I felt like the best way I could talk to her was in the form of technology. So I decided to use the reference of having like a phone charger. And sometimes your phone charger works, sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes there might be a short in the cord. And that's what MS is. And if you have MS, sometimes that charger works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have to wiggle a little bit to make it work to charge it. Sometimes it just does not work. So I told her that the the cords in my brain are like the chargers, and sometimes they connect, and sometimes they work, and sometimes they don't. So that was the best way I could describe it to her.
Definitely a good way to describe it because you are absolutely right. Some days we do so well, look like we have nothing going on. Other days, like, okay.
And everybody can relate to a phone charger. Everybody has had a phone charger, and you've had multiple phone chargers, and sometimes if you just jiggle it a little bit, it might work. Sometimes if you stretch it out or you bend it a certain way, it works, and sometimes it just doesn't work, and that's MS.
Wouldn't it be nice
Unfortunately,
to get a new cord?
would you say?
Wouldn't it be nice if we could just get us a new cord?
I mean, it's on back order, but
I would love to have that one. Yes.
yes.
Now, I think you already touched on this, but I am going to ask you because just in case anyone missed this part, your most memorable moment and achievement. I love yours. That was your.
Which one? I forgot.
You have memory issues with MS, so yes, I know.
No, that's another one. Boom. Um, where I made the speech for graduation.
Okay, that's
Um, I received my master's. Um, and I got to tell my story when I got my master's, and I was the student speaker at my graduation, and that was just awesome. Um, I loved that. I got to say I love you to my dad. It was sign language. Um, and everybody makes fun of me, but that was that was one of them. Which one did you think, Rhonda? I was trying to think.
I was saying, gotten your master's. That was it. And
Yeah.
you know what? You went through the health issues. Sometimes, like you said, we couldn't finish our job because we had to be disabled or disability. But you had a goal. I'm going to get my master's, and you received that master's. That is awesome. And to speak at your graduation, what college is this?
University of Phoenix.
University of Phoenix. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's
I
awesome.
won't tell you a year because then it would tell my age, and we
We
don't.
already know you old. We can tell that. No. I can only say that because I'm a lot older than you, okay? You can
You
get
know
my
what? This
dollar.
is supposed to be a rated G show,
Okay.
but just know what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. All right. And then I would like to ask one last question of you. What do you wish others understood more about MS?
Oh, I wish that other people understood. Sometimes people just don't feel well. Um, it's not. When you say you don't feel well, you really just don't feel well. You don't feel like yourself. It's not something that you're like, oh well, my hand or my finger is hurting. You just don't feel well. You don't feel like yourself. I don't know what self is supposed to feel, but it doesn't feel the same way it felt yesterday. Um, it's not that you want to be down, but you just don't feel like yourself. It feels like you're tired is tired. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. It just feels bad. I wish people understood that about MS. I don't know, and not to think, because some people that have MS, you don't see it. You don't know that they have MS. So it's not something that, once again, you cannot put it on your face and say, I have MS, or the people walk and they have MS, a certain crip walk. No, you don't have that. So I think that everybody needs to understand that not just MS, but every disability, there is no blanket anything. And people who are handicapped, they could be handicapped for so many different reasons. Some people might have breathing issues. You never know. So I just say across the board, what I wish people would know is that I think they had to have more sensitivity towards people with any disability, and understand that everybody is not the same.
I love that. And I was going to say, no matter how tough it gets, we're all in this together, and
Yes.
we will conquer this. And I wanted to say that. So what you said in the end, we all have different symptoms. We all have different things to go through, but we're all one family, the multiple sclerosis family.
And Rhonda said that the delay for her not having one is just because life was lifing. And that's what we're going through. I won't just blame it on MS. It's life is lifing. Whoever is going through anything, life is lifing. So
I want all of you to know also, Dion and I have built such a rapport during our MS. We are trying very hard because of our challenges, because of our timing, because of our fatigueness, but we would like to start a podcast, and I want you guys to look out for it. Our podcast is going to be called, Dion, I'm going to let you introduce it. What are we going to call our
oh
podcast?
gosh, it's going to be MS dot dot dot. So with like everything, MS is constantly changing. So MS could mean anything at that day. But we are going to try and make it in the form of starting with the M and a S. So we might have something where it's like mini stressors. That would be our MS is mini stressors.
And I would say
Whatever it is. Yeah.
we like to have fun. So it's going to be a lot of laughing in this one because we do, like Dion said earlier, we don't believe in tears. We have to keep positive. You have to stay. It takes more muscles to laugh than it does to frown. It makes you feel a lot better in your life if you think positive instead of woe is me. It pulls you through. So we want you to be positive. If anybody out there suffering with MS, we want you to stay positive. We are positive. We know we can handle this. And like she
And
said,
if you're looking for a pity party and a sad show, that's the wrong show for yourself.
that's right. That's right. And I'm so looking forward to working with you, Dion, because I think
Yeah.
we're going to have a good time. And I'm sure people will love hearing us because we're going to have a good time. So please look out for that. Um, I would like to say thank you very much. I appreciate all your time, Dion. Thanks for your patience
Thank
with
you for
me.
having me.
Yes, I enjoyed you. And anyone else, if you would love to share your story, I would love to hear your story. Would love to hear your story because all of our stories are different. And if you look on my bio, you can see there's an email address. Reach out to me if you would like to share the story. I would love to hear your side of the story so we can go let the world know what we go through. I mean, we have good times, we have bad times, and we're in it together. So feel free to let me know if you would like to share your story.
And
Thank you for
even if you
calling.
want to talk about your floor, you can talk about your floor. If you've seen it before, yeah, when you fail, you test it out, call us.
Don't forget about the walls. Walls move. We don't bump into
Oh,
walls.
yeah, walls. Yes, walls.
Thank you, everyone. All right. Bye.
Bye.